Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Sydney from PhoneDoc.com, and I'm back with the Sharp FX Plus from AT&T. This is another messaging phone that's been turned into an Android smartphone. We've seen a couple of these come out lately, and this is another one. So the original Sharp FX was just a basic feature phone, and now it's an Android smartphone. The design has been slimmed down a little bit, so it's a little thinner, and the keyboard has an update, so it has kind of a different design. Still an excellent keyboard though, so we're going to do a full review of it. I've been testing it out, so I'm going to take you through the device and show you the pros and the cons and how well it performs in different areas. So we're going to get onto that in just a minute. Before we start the review, I have to say a special thanks to our friends at Best Buy Mobile. They send us free phones that we can add to our One Paw Bandit game, which is a game where you guys can win free phones. One of the great things about Best Buy Mobile is that when you buy a phone from them, you don't have to worry about mail-in rebates. You don't have to worry about remembering it or waiting 6 to 8 weeks to get the money. At Best Buy Mobile, the price on the tag is the price you pay. So thank you, Best Buy Mobile, for being so awesome. Thank you guys for watching this video. It's a full review of the Sharp FX Plus from AT&T. I'm Sydney from PhoneDoc.com. Let's go check it out. So the Sharp FX Plus hardware design isn't really something new. I talked about in the unboxing video how the original Sharp FX, which came out about a year ago, had the same basic design but is a little bit thicker. And so Sharp did a really great job of slimming down the hardware design. You still kind of have that unique sort of sidekick-esque form factor, but still a lot thinner than the original Sharp FX, and overall it just looks really great. So you can see the keyboard slides out to the left, and then you have on the back the camera, 3.5mm headphone jack on the top. This is the micro USB port, volume rocker buttons, and then on the front these buttons are actual physical buttons. So you have menu, home, back, and search. Dedicated camera button. I personally love having a dedicated camera button, so you do have that. And then this is the power button as well as the screen lock button. So overall the hardware looks great. Nice, curved edges, which makes it look really sleek. And again, I can't say how much it just improves the overall look of the phone to have it so much thinner than the original. The original Sharp was just very thick and bulky, so a definite improvement there. Now on the front here, this display is a 3.2-inch display, so a little bit on the small side. Generally mid-range Android smartphones or low-end Android smartphones these days, you'll get about a 3.2-inch or 3.5-inch, so it may be too small for some, but just keep that in mind. You do at least have the physical keyboard, so you won't have to be typing, kind of cramming your thumbs onto this tiny screen. It does have a virtual keyboard, so if we go back, you can see it does have a virtual keyboard, and then you also have swipe. So you can use, the display to type on, but it's definitely nice having that physical keyboard, considering how small the display is. So 3.2-inch display, it has a resolution of 320 by 480. Again, a pretty standard resolution for low-end devices. It's a little rough, text is pixelated and kind of rough if you get close to it, but again, it's a low-end device, so that's to be expected. It does have a capacitive touchscreen. One of my problems with the touchscreen is that it's made out of plastic instead of glass, and so glass touchscreens, they're obviously going to be smoother physically whenever you're scrolling through and your finger actually slides across. It's a lot more smooth, whereas plastic tends to be kind of rough, and so sometimes it's not as responsive, or it doesn't feel like it's as responsive. To me, it doesn't really change the overall performance of the phone, but the experience of using it, I think you're going to know that you're using a cheap device with a cheap touchscreen panel. So just keep that in mind. It is made out of plastic, so it is going to be kind of rough, and sometimes it's going to be kind of sticky whenever you're scrolling, or pinching and zooming is definitely when you're going to notice it, or at least whenever I noticed it. So if we take a look at the home screen here, you can see this does ship with Android. It ships with Android version 2.2. Now, I don't have any word on if this phone will get 2.3 or when. I do believe that AT&T said that all of their phones that came out in 2011 will get 2.3, but I don't have any word on when it will. So for the time being, it's Android 2.2. And so you can see that Pantech has added a couple of customization, or excuse me, Sharp, not Pantech. Sharp has added a couple of customizations to Android. So at the bottom we have a dock here with shortcuts to your phone, messages, web browser, and then this goes to the app drawer. You can't customize these shortcuts, so I can't change messaging, or I can't, bring down another shortcut. So this is that's default and you can't change it, but it is nice to have those shortcuts. Other than that, Sharp hasn't really changed a whole lot. If we go to the notification bar, this is all what you would get with just a basic stock Android device. Again, going back to messaging, this is basically what you get with the stock Android device. So there aren't a whole lot of changes, but Sharp has just added a couple of things, and then you can see that they've also added a couple of custom widgets. And so this is a clock and weather widget that actually looks really nice. It takes up nearly the entire screen, so that's whether you like that or not. But it does look very nice, and then I can go in and get a detailed report of the weather. You can see I actually have I can have several different locations that I can scroll through if I had more than one location. And then here we have a custom message widget, so it'll show all of the messages that I've received. It's not necessarily conversation view, so you can see it doesn't have the messages that I've sent, but you do have a widget with the messages you've received. And then this is their custom calendar widget. And then if I select just anywhere on the calendar, even if I were to select a specific date, it would just open the calendar. It wouldn't actually go to that date, and then I can see all of my events. So just a couple of custom widgets, and then that custom dock at the bottom. But other than that, you still get the basic widgets that come with stock Android, except for the task killer. I've downloaded that. Digital clock. That's just a basic small digital clock that Sharp has added. A dual clock, and then these are widgets that come with any Android device. Sharp clock, and then the calendar, which is what you saw in Seismic. Those are apps that I've downloaded. So overall, I'm happy that it comes with Android 2.2. I think that's great. And also Sharp's UI, not very heavy, but they do just add a couple of widgets and a couple of features that I think are very useful. If we go to the app drawer here, you can see it does come with some AT&T apps, so Code Scanner, Family Map, and Navigator. It does come with the default Android browser, Live TV, My AT&T, and then it comes with this Office suite, Polaris Office, Sound Recorder. A couple of these apps are ones that I've downloaded, and then YP Mobile. So there is some bloatware, if you call it that AT&T has included, but really not a whole lot. Unfortunately, you can't delete those, but at least it's not too much that AT&T has included. So that's nice. So I showed you earlier the keyboard, so we'll go back and take a closer look at that. This is an excellent physical keyboard, and again I'm going to reference the original Sharp. This is very, very different from the original Sharp's keyboard. So if you have that phone, or you use that phone, or you've looked at it, this keyboard is very different. For starters, the keys are island style keys, so each key is separate by itself. They're circle styled. They're very flat, as you can see, but they are raised just slightly. Again, this is very different from the original Sharp, where the keys had a very prominent, I guess, mountain or curved or bubble design to them. They were raised very highly above this keyboard panel. So these are pretty flat, but the nice thing about this keyboard is that the keys are very rubbery and grippy. Not rubbery as in, mushy and you feel like you're not really pressing anything. They do have enough firmness to them, but they're very grippy, so it's easy to, for one thing, differentiate each key because of the separation, but then that extra grip just makes it easier to feel each key. So I'll do the quick brown fox, wishes that it wasn't so freaking hot outside, because it is hot. So the quick brown fox wishes that it wasn't. So a couple of errors there, but overall the keyboard is great. You do have a measure of autocorrect. Obviously it didn't fix those mistakes, but it does. For example, if I do he's, it'll add that apostrophe as you can see. I don't know if the lighting is messing that up. So you do have some autocorrect functionality there, but overall the keyboard is absolutely spectacular, and I really like it. Now in terms of size, you know, it's going to depend on, you know, how large your thumbs are, how big your hands are. You know, you can keep in mind that this is a 3.2-inch display, so you're probably getting about, you know, 3.5 inches, you know, maybe a 4-inch keyboard, probably not that big. So it's a little bit small. The device itself is small, but overall the keyboard is just absolutely fantastic. You have a dedicated period key and comma key. Always nice. Those are the two most used punctuation marks, so it's nice to have a key for both. Question mark and exclamation mark, you do have to use function to get to them, but at least they're not, you know, hidden in the keyboard. They're right on the other most used punctuation keys, so that's nice too. A dedicated at button, and then you do have directional arrows, which is nice. You know, sometimes when you have this small display, you know, trying to go through and pick a spot in your sentence can kind of be a little difficult. So yeah, the directional arrows, delete, return, or enter, function, shift, and then the numbers are integrated into a row of letters. So I love the keyboard. The keys are flat, but having that grip just makes it very easy to type quickly. And then if virtual keyboards are your thing, you do have the Android keyboard along with the swipe keyboard.